Hey guys, good morning and welcome to Dow Jones, ES Futures, and Euro USD review with Broker Stalker. I'm ready today. I want to show you guys a couple setups that I'm looking for at Dow Jones Futures. We have everything laid out right in front of us, so I think it's an opportune time to see what I'm looking for. Generally speaking, here we go. So white levels are essentially major levels of support and resistance, usually a single line, sometimes a double. When it's double, it's more of a zone. When it's single, it's still a zone, but usually a little bit more specific. As you learn more about price action, you'll see that price usually does respect these levels exact, but there are times where we might undercut them slightly or not quite reach them, and that's still valid. So let's move into the setups I'm looking for. I generally trade liquidity sweeps of quality lows. Quality low to me is something around 15-20 points ideally, sometimes less, but those are going to be lower quality trades oftentimes. Still valid, just you have to be more mindful of that. And here on Dow Jones Futures, we have 4 clear lows we can work with today. So we're going to definitely get some type of opportunity is my guess. Let's see which one ends up working out. The first setup I have here is from the late afternoon Wednesday low at 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m. This one went from about 49.59 all the way up to 49.79, so 20 points. That's definitely a great low. So at this point, I have low here. Um, I'm looking for that low to get reclaimed. We've started the process, we've come up to it and sold down. I would have liked a little bit more of a clear tag of this level. We probably will get that, after which point I'd want to stay above this low for at least 3 minutes before entering. Now we've sold about from 49.59, about 8 points just about below this low. That's about the barometer I'm looking for, at least 8 points below if I'm gonna take the long right above the low. If I'm not getting those 8 points, I'd probably want to see this low get cleared by 4 or 5 points depending on which ticker I'm trading. So this is Dow Jones. I use about 4 point leeway there. So if the low was 49.59.1, 49.63.1 would be about the trigger. A lot of times I can adjust these minor levels to accommodate that. If I still see relevance, you can still see this is a good level of support. It's a minor support. I'm not too worried about being exact all the time, but now I can use this as a trigger if I so pleased. If I get a little choppy in this area, for example, if it comes up and it just sits here, comes back down and just kind of really just takes its time, I can wait for this to clear before entering, and I'm targeting this right major level for my profits. Below that, there's a clear low here from the Wednesday daily low. That one is again perfect. We got a low from 49.48 all the way up to 96, so about 50-point low. Can't get better than that. Definitely looking to trade a flush and recovery of that. Below that, I have this clear low from Tuesday afternoon that went for almost 60 points, and then one more low from Tuesday morning that went for almost 70 plus points. So all these are some valid lows. The way it plays out, we'll see. I'm looking forward to grabbing some points here on Dow Jones futures today. Ideally, there's another low, one more low here. We're just set up with a lot of different flush and recoveries today. At some point, we should get a beauty of a trade. Now, real quick, Euro USD. Before I went to bed last night, I saw a setup and I took it, and I'm going to explain to you why. So there was a clear low here, this red level marked from earlier this month. You can see right here, these 3 lows actually exactly the same. So it's a cluster of lows, including a very quality low because we went up a lot of points from those lows. So I'm looking for the flush and recovery of that low for points. Now, how can I approach this? Let's break down how price action was when we got there. So the red line is that low, the green line is the trigger. Now, since we only lost that low by what, 85, only 3 points, like I mentioned in the Euro USD, sorry, in the Dow Jones earlier, if it's only about 8 to 10 points, I'm looking for it to recover by 4 or 5. If it's more than 8 to 10, I'm willing to take the low recovery at that point. So here we only want a few points, so I'm looking for at least 4 points above the low because it's Euro USD. So that's the screen trigger, and lo and behold, we hit that and sold off at 3 p.m. We came back down and then came back up to it around 6:15. This was my signal that I'm interested. This is my acceptance. We came back to that trigger. That's positive. Now I'm waiting for us to go above the trigger and hold for 3 minutes. So I'm going to go into 1 minute just to show you this working in real time. So you can see we had a couple rejections initially, and then around 8 o'clock we were starting to get some resemblance of a trigger. Technically right here we closed above, and then 1, 2, 3 minutes above, so the fourth minute, 7:57, one could enter any point now. You could have entered around 1791 or a little lower. The first minor level up is usually a profit take if you want to, if it makes enough sense. At this point you could have, if you entered around 1790, you would have gotten 5 points, which is at the bare minimum what I would need for a successful trade. I'm looking for at least 5 points. After I lose some money on arbitrage, I'm losing at least 2 points there, so I need to make at least 3 points to have any resemblance of a positive trade. So this worked up right away, but then if you were patient, because it was a decent low that we were working with, we kind of came back down for a little drawdown until overnight we boosted up to the next major level above. So that worked out great. Now we've lost that low and the red important low from earlier this month, and the lows created here. You can see these lows traveled from 1782 all the way up here, so at least 20 plus points. And we hit this level exact right here. At this point now, it can be a little confusing. What I would probably want to do is clear this entire zone to enter. So I'd probably want to be long over 1790. No wrong answers though. You can do what you like depending on your risk appetite. There is a clear low here now, so one could enter above, a couple points above this low. The low right here is about 1782, so about 1786, or this low itself is the entry now. So at this point I will be considering entering at this low if we can hold above this low. So I'm gonna put major low plus trigger, since we're willing to enter at that low. So when we get back up there and we hold for at least 3 minutes above without undercutting this low again, I'd be willing to enter. If it gets choppy after more than a few minutes and I'm not seeing what I want, then I'd probably just wait for this entire zone to clear. Nothing wrong with that, because the fact that it's holding is a positive sign, and you'd rather be a little bit more certain than to be risking something that it doesn't make sense. So that's Dow Jones and Euro USD. I thought we had some great setups there. In ES itself, we're working on a failed breakdown right now. If we can get a little bit more volatility, it's already triggered from my perspective, but because such a low volatility trade and some quality lows below, I'm going to be a little bit more patient and see if we can get a little push into the 68.80s, because this failed breakdown for me will be targeting at least these two minor levels, if not a back test of this major level. So patience is the name. Let's see what we can get on all three triggers today. Have a great day. I'll be back with updates.